two running backs you got to deal with this week,
Mhm.
and with how they differ or they're the same.
I think they're the same in terms of talent because they're extremely talented. Um, Top-notch players. I played them both. I mean, it's crazy when you got like, in my opinion, at least like two top 10 backs in the league in the backfield. So very hard challenge.
Do you feel like very much a path to victory here for you guys, is if you guys can keep them contained
Of course,
defensively,
of
and you
course,
kind of
of
take that
course.
on yourselves a little bit?
Yes.
How good is this offensive line, Cleveland?
Every offensive line in the league is good.
But this group, last week, obviously, they must have done a pretty good job with all the running yards that they had against Carolina. What do they do particularly well this line?
They play. They've been in the system now for like 3 years. I think offensive line play. A lot of times, people like want to put individuals in there, but it's how they play collectively as a group. What makes a good offensive line. So yeah, I think they do a good job playing together because it's like the third year that they've been in the system with Stefanski. I think that's what makes them good. It's just they play really well together.
How did you feel on Sunday? Finally getting out there and playing a full game, so to speak.
Extremely blessed. Extremely blessed just to be back out there. And of course, I kind of came off the field like thinking about the negatives of the game, but then I had to take a step back and be like, there was at a point in time that I was like, man, like I'm in a scooter. You know what I'm saying? So just to be able to get back out there, just be, like not saying I'm like, hey, um, I just was very thankful, and now I can keep going forward and build off that.
Physically, how did you feel? Did it feel like it went the way you wanted it to go, or
Of course not. I'm never
No, I
satisfied.
don't
Of
mean
course,
the
but
result, of course, but I mean just even your play.
of course not. It didn't go how I wanted it to go, but I was like I said, I'm thankful just to be even there. I'll be out there. But even when I was healthy, I was like I've never really been satisfied. I always feel like stuff I need to work on and get better at.
When did you have that moment? Because you said you haven't really had like a moment where you kind of
I
appreciated it.
I think it was after the game when I was like just sitting there with my family. We got together and then I didn't like even though I lost. I mean I just needed to take a step back and be like, hey, I got to this point. Now to keep going. Don't let off the gas, but hey, like give yourself like appreciation. Just be thankful just to where you are at the current moment.
You had talked about looking forward to your father being there. What was that like?
That was
happened
it.
and sharing that time with him after.
It was awesome just to be able to be with my family, and that's why I was like I had to take a step back because the first thing I wanted to do was get on the film and like be upset about the game, but then again I'm like I have all these wonderful people in front of me. That's a discredit to them, and that's a discredit to just the work that I have put in to get there. So I just took a couple hours after the game just to let loose, something I rarely do, and just like I said, just be appreciative that I was just even able to get to that point, and now I got to keep working from there.
When you looked at the tape, is there anything specific that you think you can do better?
Oh,
that
of
you wanna
course,
share,
of
or-
course. Not really in detail, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I needed to get better, and I feel like I had a good week of practice, and I've been working on those things. But it was really hard. I wanted to. It was really hard to like shut it down for a couple hours. But yeah, I think I've worked on the stuff that I wanted to get done, and just keep improving and keep getting better.
What's the transition like going from a great running quarterback, great quarterback overall, Lamar Jackson, to more of a pocket passer, from a pass rusher mindset?
Jacoby Brissett's got some athleticism. So I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson in terms of when he runs to run, but he's still a mobile quarterback, and so you have to respect that. But the mindset, it's just a different offense. Like Lamar Jackson is a totally different entity than anything else in the league, because it's the offensive and the run game is built around him, as opposed to you got two extremely good backs in the backfield. So it's more of a traditional NFL team. So. It's not really. It's more like regular football.
You have the most experience out of many of the guys in the locker room playing in Cleveland. And they talk about the dog pound and how loud it can get. Is there anything special that stadium does in that environment that can be difficult to play in?
Nah, and this is no shot at Cleveland. This is NFL. I mean, I came out the SEC, so like, I came to the NFL and I was like, wow, this is not nowhere near as loud as that. So I mean, it's not really for me personally. It's not really a. Now I will say the Viking Stadium is extremely loud. Like with the horns, that's SEC level, Ohio State college football type loud, but it's not really a crazy environment change to me. And I think other SEC players in that Cleveland locker room would tell you that same thing.
What was the toughest place you played in college?
Johnny Manziel, Texas A&M, College Station. He got hurt, and he was out for like 2 quarters. And then I swear, like I felt the ground rumble underneath my feet when they came back in. They were like, Manziel's coming back in, and like literally, like College Station was rocking. You could see like when they were yelling, you could see like the grass shaking for how loud it was. So that's probably the loudest I remember. Or the kick 6 when at Auburn. That was ridiculous. But it was I couldn't really appreciate how loud it was because it was like I was freaking out too. So I was like, it was different.
You guys feel sacks aren't everything. Pressures are just as important, and you've got a lot of pressure on Lamar. But do you guys feel you want to get more sacks this week than last week?
Always.
What is it like? How did you guys view the pass rush? The number was 1 sack, but how did you view it in its entirety?
I think we played really well. I think especially Quentin Williams played really well. He had his one-on-one matchups, and he won a lot of them. So I think you always want to build on that and get better. But to answer your question, yes.